Hi, everybody. It's Ms.Salazar, and welcome to math. So, I have here with me the exercises for the textbook pages, and I'm on exercise number 10. And I have here A, B, C, D, E, and E, and F. So, I have these exercises, and I'm going to show you how to do that using the new method that I showed you guys in the last video. So, let's see. In exercise A, we have 617 minus 247. So I have 617, but I owe 247. I owe 247. I have to take away this number, 247. So let's see. So 6 minus 2 is how much? 4. And because I'm in my hundreds place, I'm going to add those two zeros. So that's going to be actually 400. And let's see, 1, and I have to take away 4. Can I take away 4 from a 1? No, because I don't have enough. And remember what I said, to leave what you owe for last. So because I have to subtract these numbers and I have to borrow because I don't have enough, I'm going to leave it for last. So let's jump to my ones place. So 7 minus 7, can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. I can do that subtraction. So if I have 7 and I take away 7, I'm going to be left with 0. So after I do this, I'm going to add. Let's see how much I have left so far. Obviously, I still have 400. So now I'm going to go back to my tens place. So if I have 1, how much do I need in order to get to 4? I'm going to need 3. And because I'm in my tens place, I'm going to write that 0. A 3 in the tens place is the same thing as saying 30. It's the same thing. Now I'm going to subtract and let's see how much I have. So 0 minus 0, it's still 0. Can I take away 3 from a 0? No, so that means that I have to borrow a 10. So he's no longer going to be 4. Now he's going to be 3. And this guy is going to be a 10. So if I have 10 and I take away 3, I'm going to be left with 7. And then I'm going to drop that 3 because I'm not subtracting anything. So the answer is going to be 370. You see, that was pretty easy. And I did it pretty fast too. And hopefully, if you guys get to do this, you just practice and practice and practice, and you'll get it, and you'll be able to do it fast. So let's do letter B. 308 minus 140. Okay, so if I have 3 and I take away 1, I'm going to be left with 2. And because I'm in my hundreds place, I'm going to write those 2 0. It's actually going to be 200. So let's look at my tens place. I have 0, but I have to take away 4. I can't do that because I would have to borrow. And anything that I have to borrow, anything that I owe, I'm going to leave it for last. So let's go to my ones place. I have 8, and I don't have to take away anything. So I'm just going to write that 8 below, and I'm going to add. And so far, I have 208. That's what I have so far. And now I'm going to go back to my tens place. So if I have 0 and I need to get to 4, how much do I need? Well, I still need 4, right? And because it's in my tens place, I'm going to write that 0 because a 4 in the tens place is the same thing as a 40. Now I get to subtract. So 8 minus nothing, it's still 8. I can't subtract a 4 from a 0, so I'm going to borrow. He's no longer going to be 2, he's going to be a 1, and now the 0 is actually going to be a 10 because I borrowed a 10. Now that I have 10 and I take away 4, I'm going to be left with 6, and then I drop that 1 because I'm not subtracting anything. 1 minus nothing, it's still 1. So the answer is going to be 168. Let's look at letter C. So we have 705 and we have to subtract 492. So if I have 7 and I take away 4, I'm going to be left with 3. And because it's in the hundreds place, I'm going to write those two zeros. It's going to be 300. I have 9 and I have to take away. Oh, wait, I have 0 and I have to take away 9. I can't do that because I would have to borrow, right? I can't take away 9 from a 0 because I don't have enough. So let's jump to my ones place. If I have 5 and I take away 2, I'm going to be left with 3. And now I'm going to add. Let's see how much I have so far. So far, I have a total of 303. This is a 0. Let me make this slightly better. There you go. Okay, so I have 303, and now I'm going to go back to my tens place. So if I have 0 and I need to get to 9, how many digits am I missing? I'm missing 9 digits, right? So I'm going to write that 9 in my tens place, and because it's in my tens place, it's actually a 90, and now I get to subtract. There you go. So I get to subtract 3 minus nothing. Well, it's still 3. I can't subtract 9 from a 0, so I would have to borrow. And now he's no longer going to be 3, he's going to be a 2. And then the 0 is actually going to be a 10 because I'm borrowing a 10 from my 3, right? So if I have 10 and I take away 9, I'm going to be left with 1. And then I'm going to drop that 2 because I'm not subtracting anything. So the answer is going to be 213. Let's go to letter D. 807, and I have to take away 486. So if I have 8 and I take away 4, I'm going to be left with 4. And because it's in my hundreds place, I'm going to write those 2 0. Let's look at my tens place. I have 0, but I have to take away 8. I can't do that because I would have to borrow, and remember what I said. If you have to borrow, leave it for last. So let's look at the numbers in my ones place. If I have 7, can I take away 6? Yeah, I can. I have enough. So if I have 7 and I take away 6, I'm going to be left with 1. There you go, 1. So I'm going to add these numbers. So far, I have a total of 401. That's what I have so far, but I'm not done. I have to go back to my tens place. So if I have 0 and I need to get to 8, right? That's my mentality. That's what I'm thinking. I have 0 and I need to get to 8. How many digits am I missing? I'm missing 8 digits. So I'm in my tens place. I'm going to write the 8 in the tens place, which is the same thing as 80. 8 in the tens place is the same thing as 80. Now I get to subtract. So 1 minus nothing, it's still 1. I can't subtract 8 from a 0 because I don't have enough, so I would have to borrow. So now I can borrow. He's going to be a 3 and he's going to be a 10. And if I have 10 and I take away 8, I'm going to be left with 2, and then I'm going to drop that 3. And the total is 321. Let's do letter E, and then we do letter F, and then we're done. We're done with this part of the video. So letter E, 634, and then we have to subtract 284. So let's look at the digits in my hundreds place. 6 minus 2. Can I do that? Yeah, I can do that. I have enough. So if I have 6 and I take away 2, I'm going to be left with 4. This is going to be 400 because it's in my hundreds place. Now let's look at the digits in my tens place. I have 3, but I have to subtract. I have to subtract 8. I can't do that because I don't have enough. So I'm going to leave it for last. Let's jump to the digits in my ones place. 4 minus 4, I can do that. That's a total of 0. And so far, if I add these numbers, I have a total of, there you go, I have a total of 400. I'm still in 400. Now I'm going to go back to the digits in my tens place. So if I have 3 and I have to get to 8, how many digits am I missing? I'm missing 5 digits, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm missing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing 5 digits in order to get to 8. And because it's in my tens place, I write the 5 in my tens place, which is a 50. A 5 in the tens place is a 50. Now I get to subtract. 0 minus 0 is still a 0. Can I subtract 5 from a 0? Nope. I'm going to have to borrow. So 4, he's no longer going to be 4. He's going to be a 3. And he's no longer going to be a 0. He's going to be a 10. So if I have 10 and I subtract 5, I'm going to be left with 5. And now I get to drop that 3 because I'm not subtracting anything here. So the answer is 350. That's going to be my answer, 350. So now for the last exercise, I have 920 and I have to subtract 840. So again, let's look at the digits in my hundreds place. I have 9, I take away 8, I'm going to be left with 1. It's in my hundreds place, so it's actually going to be 100. Now let's look at the digits in my tens place. I have 2 and I have to subtract 4. I can't do that because then I would have to borrow. And remember what I said, if you have to borrow, leave it for last. Now, 0 minus 0, well, that's still 0. And so far, I still have 100, but I have to go back to my tens place. So if I have 2 and I need to get to 4, how much do I need? So I need 2 more digits in order to get to 4, right? And because it's in my tens place, this is actually going to be a 20. And now I get to subtract. So 0 minus 0 is still 0, right? And I can't subtract 2 from a 0, so I'm going to have to borrow. So this is still going to be a 10. There you go. There's the little 1, and now he's going to be a 0. And now that I have a 10 and I take away 2, I'm going to be left with, how much is that? If I have 10 and I take away 2, I'm going to be left with 8. I don't have to write anything here because 0 minus 0 is still 0, so I'm just going to leave it blank. And the answer is going to be 80.